what were you doing before Pure Light? And what was that moment where you're like, all right, we're building this thing?
Yeah, I was actually doing this for someone else, just kind of by default.
You guys have acquired and bought other businesses and absorbed into Pure Light. Tell me about how kind of this acquisition strategies kind of fit into part of your growth story.
All kind of started just by accident, dude. Like, it wasn't even anything I was looking for. It was never even like, just same thing with like starting a business. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to look for something to buy.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Superpro podcast. I'm Roland Ligtenberg. I'm also the co-founder of Housecall Pro, and I'm your host for today. Since 2013, we've been championing the trades, and our mission is champion all of our pros of success because you all do such great work at keeping our homes safe, comfortable, and our communities running. Through Housecall Pro, I've had the privilege of supporting hundreds of thousands of pros just like you guys, empowering you all to achieve more, stress less, and redefine success in our industry. I'm super excited today. We've got an ultra OG pro, been using Housecall Pro for a super long time. We've got Cameron Stewart. He's with Pure Light Cleaning. He's based out of San Diego. It's a cleaning and restoration, stone restoration business. He's on track. His goal for this year is to hit $2 million in revenue. He's got 10 employees out there, 4 vans on the road. We're going to get a lot of great tips from him on the things that he's seen in his business, especially in a big metro area like San Diego. And hopefully there's some great golden nuggets he's got to share here with some of the other pros out here. Cameron, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Roland. Excited to be here. Definitely OG.
Yeah. Been around for a while. I love to ask the founding story of Pure Light. What were you doing before Pure Light? And what was that moment where you're like, all right, we're building this thing?
Yeah, I was actually doing this for someone else, just kind of by default. I actually had my real estate license. I thought I was going to get into real estate. That was in like 07, 08 when the market was tanking. I detailed cars with a buddy for a couple days a week. One account he used to wash was a carpet cleaning account. And they saw me washing cars and they're like, this guy needs a job. Let's offer him a job. And I knew the owner. He offered me a job like 6 times. I turned him down like 6 times. And then I was in a relationship getting serious and I'm like, I need a job, dude. so I just took a job with them and worked for them for like 3.5 years and then basically fell in love with it, fell in love with the day to day, the different environment every day, dealing with customers. Service is like a big thing for me. I love to serve. And so basically stayed with them. Honestly, dude, I would still be with them if opportunities were there for me to grow. Like being a business owner wasn't on my roadmap, dude, at all.
Yeah. It's funny because I talk to a lot of pros and a lot of pros tell me the same thing. They're like, I was never thinking of being a business owner. I just love the trade and it just kind of like, it just happened and things aligned or they're working somewhere else.
Yeah, it was kind of just out of necessity for survival. Like in San Diego, everything's so expensive. It always has been. And at a time where I felt like I was putting out my best effort, all my customers were happy. I'm like getting tips all the time. I'm thinking I deserve more money. And instead of getting a pay raise, I got a pay cut. And that was kind of the like, all right, I'm working next to a guy that's been with the company for 20 years. We're on the same pay scale. I just got my pay cut. I got to figure something out. Yeah. And so basically it was creating a job for myself in the beginning.
Yeah. And I mean, look, this is back in 2010. So this is like a little ways ago. And so you've been in business now for quite a while. I think along the path, it's been interesting, Pure Light, you guys have acquired and bought other businesses and absorbed into Pure Light. Tell me about how kind of this acquisition strategies kind of fit into part of your growth story.
So that's interesting because I think I'm up to 6 acquisitions now, maybe 7. I just got another one like 3 months ago. And it all kind of started just by accident, dude. Like it wasn't even anything I was looking for. It was never even like, just same thing with like starting a business. Like it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to look for something to buy. It just, I had a guy contact me. The first 3 years of my company, I did everything myself, running it out of the house, answering calls, scheduling, doing the work, estimates, everything. And then after 3 years, I had a guy call me that we had worked together when I worked for the other company and he had his own business. And long story short, he's like, hey, I want to talk to you. I'm getting a divorce. I need to sell my company. Do you want to buy it? And I was just like, no. I mean, I really was like, no, like I'm not really interested. And then we met. He was desperate. It was a good deal. He didn't want to sell it for a lot of money because his ex was going to get half of that anyway. So it was kind of like right place, right time. And that was my first acquisition where I got a second truck I got an employee that was with the other company for like 10 years that was happy to just switch shirts and keep working. So it was actually a really great deal for me to basically double overnight, you know?
Yeah. And I think the golden nugget there too is sometimes things just kind of like fall on your lap. And so never kind of turn down an opportunity to take a second look, especially at something like that where you can and you acquired a great employee that had been loyal to that company. You know, obviously the customer base you get as well, because you guys have multiple services that you offer too, gives you
Yeah.
multiple bites at that apple also, which is a clear part of your strategy is being able to get them in on one thing. And, you know, are there other things that the homeowner might need that you guys offer?
Definitely. Yeah. Having an array of services. And then knowing what services to keep and which ones to drop. Cause like, even with that acquisition, like we got into flood restoration and that ended up not working out and just, they did carpet cleaning and stuff too. So
Mm-hmm.
it all worked out in the end. But yeah, now it's like just being, I think I'm just in tune with like opportunities and like asking questions and like just being aware of like what's going on. So, like for example, my last one, I'll tell you really quick. I had a guy who knew me in the stone restoration industry, and he like messaged me and he's like, "Hey Cameron, I'm selling some equipment. You want to buy any of this stuff?" And he had something on there. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I actually do want that," and it was a good price. I go, "You know what? I had most of this stuff," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'll take that." So he comes to pick up his check and drop off the machine, and then I just started asking him questions like, "What are you doing? You know, what's going on?" And he's like, I can't make it in San Diego. I'm moving to Arizona and I'm closing up shop, but I'm keeping like my truck and my stuff and I'm selling some stuff. And so then I'm like, well, what are you doing with your business? Nothing. Well, what are you doing with your phone number? Nothing. What are you doing with your database? Nothing. And this guy was using Housecall Pro and had years of history. And I'm like, dude, call
Wow.
me. Like, let's make a deal. And again, it was just like right place, right time. 2 weeks later, he calls me. He's like, I'm ready. Like, let's
Mm.
do it. And this guy, bought some new equipment, had it financed, couldn't afford it. And so basically I got an entire business for just helping him pay off his equipment loans.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, and I mean, look, you get that customer database too, and especially if they were also using Housecall Pro, you know, like that gives you the ability to take that structured data in, and you know, you've got good notes, you've got good history,
Yeah.
like that all helps the transaction for sure.
It's funny that you mentioned that because it is like the way that we've evolved in our Housecall Pro use has definitely, I mean, we've evolved over the years, right? We're getting deeper. Like we're really taking advantage of all the tools because there's so many tools that you guys offer. And
Mhm.
now, like where we're at in our business, like we're taking advantage of all these tools and like, which we'll get into later, I'm sure. But acquiring this guy who's using Housecall Pro, this company, and then getting into their Housecall Pro, it's like, oh my gosh, dude, these guys were not using it to its full potential. Like, there's like no notes, there's like no photos, there's no like,
Oh,
you know, it's like bare bones, and you're like, no wonder you probably went
yeah.
under. You know,
Totally. Yeah. I think sometimes too, as a pro, it can be overwhelming at times when you're starting to use new system. There's like all these things. You're like, what should I even fill in or what should I do? But I always, you know, I always advise pros is like, look, there's other pros in your area that are using Haskell Pro. See if you can connect with them. Ask them how they're using it. Because if someone took a look at your account and they're like, oh my gosh, this guy's got it dialed in. Like, why are you using those tags? You know, how are you uploading those pictures? You know, all the different pieces that you've probably encountered over the years, you've got it
yeah,
really optimized, especially for your industry and your use cases.
yeah, we are completely dialed in right now. Like, I wish we were this dialed in from the get go, but it's, you know, it's the tags that we're able to use and the reports and the automation that you guys provide with, I mean, the automated emails and the automated reminders and the automated follow-ups and the automated review. And I mean, I could go on and on and on and on. And I'm a guy that's like, especially growing through acquisitions and like acquiring these companies and stuff. I'm like, I want to grow, right? Like, my wife and I started this business because we want to put a cap on like our what we could do, right? Like income we could make and stuff like that. So you just kind of starting a business, you just kind of open that door for opportunities to
Mhm.
present themselves, right? And so um, just through the acquisitions and all that stuff, it's like I need systems. I need systems in place that I can take something and plug it in and take something and plug it in. So like the more automation as you scale and grow, you know, your SOPs and your automations and stuff. I mean, the more the merrier because it just
Yeah.
makes life a little easier and less stressful, honestly.
Yeah.
And
I know
you get tired of doing answering the same questions over and over again from your technicians, right? And you're like, gosh, dude, I just need to write this down.
yeah. And it's cool. I see pros all the time. They write all those things down and they put it into like a custom GPT and they're like, hey, ask the Cameron GPT, what I would answer,
Yeah.
but you have to start with documenting it first. That's the first step. Documenting it, building it out, doing it yourself, knowing what questions come up. I would almost say any question anyone asks you, just write it down, write down the answer, use voice notes if you don't want to type it in. Just do it because I promise you it's going to come up again. Someone's going to ask you.
Yeah, I learned that from a friend of mine who's in business, and because the technicians, like you as the owner, you want to be available to your guys, and you want to be a good team player, and you don't want to be like unattainable, like can't call business owner, right? You want to be there for the guys, but at the same time, the guys need to figure out stuff on their own sometimes. And so I had a friend in business, and he's like, the guy would just call him, hey, my machine's not working. He's like, okay, did you open the binder that says what to do if your machine's not working? No. Okay, call me back when you do that. Click, and it's like step by step, like, does it start? Does it do this? Like, and you go through the stuff, and then the guy's like, oh yeah, I figured it out.
Yeah.
Because I followed the procedures.
Well, I think, but those things let you then take your new time that you have to go do other things that are important for the business, like, being open for acquisition opportunities, looking at BD stuff, going to B&I groups, whatever it is that you're doing. But like that allows you to go drive the business forward versus constantly just being an advanced troubleshooter for your techs out there.
Yes. It's like I don't say this to my guys, but I say it's like being a glorified babysitter,
Yeah.
an adult babysitter.
Yeah,
you got to teach the guys how to think sometimes to troubleshoot, because it's like, I still have guys that are like, yeah, my machine's not working. I'm like, okay, let me check the plug. Oh, the plug's not working. It's like the Phillips head screwdriver in 60 seconds and it's working again,
Yeah, it sometimes sounds like a conversation I have with like my in-laws. They're like, the speaker's not working. And they're like, did you disconnect it? Did you turn on the power? Oh my God, that fixed it. Thank you so much. I'm like, oh boy. But sometimes just writing down the most obvious things really helps because, people are like, oh my God, it's not working. I got to like get the customer job. I got to jump to the next job. Their brain's going a million miles a minute. And sometimes it just like take a second, slow down, look at the SOP. There's a reason why every single time, you're sitting in that airplane, you're waiting, you're like, why have we not pushed back yet? Those pilots are going through the checklist. They've done it a million times. They still go through the checklist, because that makes sure they're doing the things right.
Which bringing up the checklist too, that's another great feature that you guys have that we were implementing for a while. We kind of like toggled it on and off with our guys because we were noticing like basic stuff wasn't getting done, right? Like when they set up like whatever, putting tarps down, or like some of our jobs, we have like hoses that'll wrap around corners. So we have these like plastic corner guards that'll like protect baseboards. And like, if you get a call from a customer, it's like, hey, the guy's damaged my baseboard. It's like, well, why didn't you use the corner guards that are like a $2 piece of plastic that's saved us $1,000 in repairs? So then we like, all right, we're putting checklists back on, and they have to like physically check, like, I put the corner guards on, I put the towels down, I put the, and it sucks for them because I love how you guys have it locked out. Like they have to complete the checklist to complete the job. Like they can't just skip it. So it forces them to have integrity when they're checking off every single item. And then we have something to go back on. If they're like, hey, our whatever baseboard's got damage, it's like, hey man, you checked off that you protected it. Like what's going on? And it gives us kind of ammo to,
Look, it's good. We call it CYA, cover your ass. And that relates to homeowners. Take pictures of stuff. If you notice things that are damaged before you even start work, take pictures of it. You never know when this stuff comes in handy. Just load it all up in Housecall Pro. Yeah, just load it all up.
Photos are everything. Like,
yep.
Actually, oh, dude, you know what I just thought of? I mean, I didn't even tell Shana this because we were talking about our numbers and how we track them and stuff. My general manager started doing a Housecall Pro report card that we do in meetings. Like when we do our monthly like big meeting, he pulls up a chart and it's got every technician and it's got all the things like the on my way, the start, the finish, invoice, photos, customer approval. There's some other items in there. But then they do it like, oh, you did this 100% of the time. You did this 50% of the time. You did this. And like my admin will go through and like check every job. And like they get like a report card basically, where now it's like a competition where they're all trying to like be at the top
better
of like,
score.
yeah, improve their like Housecall Pro scorecard.
That's
which
a
is kind
really,
of cool.
I mean, that's a great tip. I think obviously start with the carrot before you start with the stick, and so, hey, whoever gets the highest score gets some sort of, I don't know, Ruth's Chris Steakhouse gift card at the end of the month or whatever it is, simple
Yep.
things like that. It motivates people. It makes it into a game. People love a game. People love a leaderboard, even if it's nothing than just beating the guy next to him.
I mean, we had one guy whose first score was just like a total flop, and I think he was kind of embarrassed, and he's very competitive, and so he was at the top this month. I mean, he had almost hundreds in like he like was like, I'm doing this, I'm getting it done. So just that little like made up report card. It wasn't my idea. It was Andrew's idea. The guys are responding to it, and we're getting better, like photos. We're getting customer signatures, like all the things, dude. It's great.
Yeah, yeah, and sometimes just that public leaderboard. There's so many pros that have set up different custom dashes inside of Housecall Pro. So they just have them up on their big screens, either in the lunchroom, in the bay, in the front office, wherever they put them. But it's always good to see that stuff because people naturally they don't want to be on the bottom of that list, and even lots don't even want to be in the middle. So like that just ratchets up, that adherence, that perfection, that making sure you're doing the right things. And it's not too hard to implement.
No, it's really not. And it really does improve the whole team. Cause I mean, obviously we all got to work together, right? We're all in it to support each other and our families. We all need that paycheck. And so when we all get better, we all make more money and do better as a whole. So, why not?
Yeah. Yeah. And I like that transparency with the team too. It's like, what other people are doing also affects the bottom line. And if we're doing company-wide bonuses, Christmas bonuses based upon net profit of the business, people really start to kind of go like, hey, man, like stop doing that. You could have just used a $2 corner guard by that $1,000 eats into our net profit, which is my bonus too.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of that social pressure.
Yeah, we just talked about that this morning at our meeting. Because like we're seasonal. A lot of companies are seasonal. So like I would say typically Q1 is our slower time. And so I talk to the guys and I say, hey, listen, like busy season's coming. It's going to come and you're going to be asking for days off because you're going to be like wiped. So let's take advantage of the slow time, clean out your trucks, right? Like wash your vans down. Like, and also like when you're like, let's say you normally do 2 or 3 jobs in a day. Let's say you got 1 stop now. Like, how are you maximizing that stop? Like, are you asking to upsell stuff? Are you offering other services? Because now we've kind of broken into 2 departments where we have like our carpet and upholstery technicians. That's kind of their wheelhouse. That's what they do. And then I got like my stone technicians that are really good at like the marble and the granite, and all that stuff. Some of them can cross over, but some of them don't. And so we had a discussion today in our meeting. It was like, how can we cross sell? Like, if I'm out there doing stone and I see carpet, I'm like, oh my gosh, we could do your carpet too. And then I get to get work for my other guy and we're all like feeding each other. And like, you could just see like light bulbs going off. They're like, oh yeah, And the one thing I told my guys too, cause we do upsell bonuses. Like if you upsell, you're going to get an extra commission on that. And so one thing that I always remind them is like, if you upsell something, you don't have to do it that day. We can schedule it for another day. You can still sell the service. Even if another technician ends up doing the service that you sold, you're still going to get that bonus off of that sale. So you can sell without even doing the work and make extra money,
Yep. So why not? Why
not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
But it's like, I take responsibility for it as a business owner because it's like our upsells are a little dry right now. And it's like, okay, like what tools could I provide them to make it easier for them, right? Like, is it a leave behind? Is it a list of all of our services that they can hand the customer when they get there and say, hey, do any of these interest you? Or, so I'm always thinking of like ideas and ways that I can help them, better sell. Cause technicians are it's uncomfortable sometimes. Not everybody's like a natural salesperson, and asking for money and work is difficult sometimes, especially when the ticket's already written up, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, so my biggest suggestion there, because I see this all the time, especially for trades that are a little more, I say, straightforward from a pricing perspective. You don't have to necessarily even know how to clean carpet in order to do an estimate. So my recommendation is always you never leave the home without giving an estimate for another service that you have. And then the line is just simply like, hey, Cameron, just so you know, I really hope we delivered a 5-star experience, for the stones, that we did, the polishing work that we did, the granite refinishing, whatever we did here, just so you know, our company also offers carpet and these types of things. I've already written up an estimate because I had a chance to look around your home real quick. And here it is. There's no pressure here, but if you wanted us to come back and do this at any time, here it is, just so you have it on hand. You know what to budget, you know what to expect, and you get that same Pure Light service. Boom. That's it. And just every technician, you don't leave the job site unless you just give an extra estimate. And then when it's slow time, now all of a sudden, if you're using pipeline inside of Housecall Pro, you just take all your open estimates unclosed and you just take those and you just divvy those out and be like, all right, just call those customers. Now it's slow time. Be like, hey, call the customer. Hey, just so you know, we're gonna be in the area, whether you're in the area or not. Hey, we're going to be in the area, just so we noticed we actually had you left for a carpet clean. Before spring season gets too busy, it's going to be impossible to get in our books. Do you want me to give you an extra discount if we just take care of that for you today or this week or the next coming days? What do you think, Cameron? Oh, great. Yeah.
The other, I think just hearing you talk about that kind of reminded me of probably one of the most, what I would think is like the most underutilized tool that you guys offer that we use is the map. So if you go into the Housecall Pro map, and you just see these dots just start populating everywhere. And I tell my office all the time, I'm like, because our service area is pretty wide. Yeah. We're in San Diego. It's a big county. Like, it's not out of the question to drive an hour to do a job, if we're going up to Oceanside or even Temecula or something, which we'll do if it's worth our time, right? Like, we're not going up there for little stuff. But those are the kind of jobs, like, you're taking the drive time to get up there. Why not group as much work up there as you can while you're there? And so you pull up the Housecall Pro map and it'll literally show you customers that you've already serviced that are in that neighborhood. And you can just click and go, oh, let's call Mrs. Brown, and see if she needs service. We're going to be in the area. So it's an awesome tool that we love.
Yeah. Too. Yeah, I love that golden nugget tip. That's great. People don't, the map's kind of hidden in a different part of the
it's app. Totally hidden. Yeah, hidden, but a lot of people don't even know it's there.
Yeah, and so it's like, go look at it. It's in the top right hand corner. Is like a little pin kind of thing. It's kind of just chilling over there. But if you click it, it'll render the map. You can also see your technicians if you happen to be using like the GPS tracking kind of components, which is force. But anyways, just seeing the customers on the map is really neat, not just from like an operational day-to-day basis, but you can also look at it from a marketing perspective. Where do you have density? Where do you not? There's like so many cool things you can see over time.
Exactly. No, the density and like you can really see like where your service area is, right? Like, and drill down in those. I mean, those are like good resources and tools even for us to look at, like SEO, for example, on our website. Like, what cities do we want to target? Well, we go to our Housecall Pro map and we can see what cities we're in most often and target those cities and just multiply. So, yeah.
I love it. So let's go back to like, when you first discovered Housecall Pro. That was a while ago now. Do you remember what it was you're looking for or how you even heard about Housecall Pro? What was going on where you're like, all right, we need to get this thing?
So when I started, we were using like the carbon copy, like invoices, right? Like I write it, I tear it off, I give you a copy, I keep a copy. I got like file cabinets, everywhere. And you guys called us, just cold called us and said, hey, we got this thing. And it was like, oh, that sounds interesting. I'm always open for a phone call if there's something, like, I'm not opposed to hearing about something that could help streamline my business. Right. Yeah. So, we set up a demo and I mean, dude, I'm not even kidding you, within 60 seconds I was sold. Like, just the text reminders. Like, I think they put us in as a customer. They're like, all right, Cameron, what's your address? Okay, schedule the job. And it's like, we get this text, like, you just got scheduled, right? Or we get the text like, oh, I'm on my way. It was like, oh my gosh. Like, I mean, I'm like manually doing everything. I'm picking up the phone to like call for reminders. Like, hey, we're going to be there tomorrow. I'm picking up the phone, which there's nothing wrong with picking up the phone. It's always good to talk to people, but you pick up the phone the day before, hey, I'm going to be out there. You pick up the phone in the morning, like, because that's how I was trained. Like we always called the customer, we were on our way. Hey, I'm on my way. My ETA is going to be whatever, 9:45, I'm like, okay, thanks. Bye. But to have all that just automated was like, whoa. And then, I mean, that was back in what was it, like 2016, I think we started with you guys. And so
early.
obviously everything now is like digital. It's all digital, right? Like I've been able to like transfer all my customers into Housecall Pro, get rid of, I think my wife threw away all my file cabinets with like customers.
No. You're like,
Which
yes, get out of there.
I do miss sometimes, but it's for the best, now it's like the great thing about Housecall Pro is like, I can access my entire database anywhere in the world whenever I want. Like I don't have to go into file cabinets and, and then just with the search features and functions of like searching a certain city or even doing a report for like a specific service. And, we break all our, like we've really got into our numbers this year, which is like more than I ever have because we really want to grow. So we're really diving in.
You're a big numbers guy. What are some things you're looking at now that maybe you weren't before? Like what are you from like revenue, leads, conversion rates? Like what are you looking at? What kind of dash did you build?
We're looking at everything. Like the dash that we have right now is crazy. I showed Shayna. She was like, what? But, I mean, so I've done a lot of business coaching too. And so when I was doing business coaching, it was always tracking like leads, conversion, jobs, revenue, like all that kind of stuff. So we already kind of had like a little bit of a background in that, but we weren't really like serious about it. It was kind of like, hey, it's time for our quarterly 90-day planning. Like, shoot, let's go back and figure out what our numbers were for the quarter. It wasn't like proactive. It was more reactive, where now it's like, we're doing, like leads. And then, when you're tracking leads, you got to define what a lead is, right? Like for us, we define a lead as someone that's never done business with us before. Like it's the first time caller, never heard of Pure Light or just calling Pure Light for the first time. And they're like, hey, I want to do business with you. I want to estimate whatever. That's a lead. So we're tracking leads, and then we're tracking those leads converting into like an estimate, and then even converting into a job. We have like an Excel. I mean, we do like spreadsheets, and we have pipeline too, so we use that too. But you can really track like leads, conversion. I love the estimates, like closing ratio. The percentages. We track that every time because like we want to make sure we are at a minimum. Our goal right now for estimate conversion is like 50%. That's like minimum. Like every other estimate, we're closing the deal for sure. And we're working on getting that higher. But we use that to kind of measure our rates, right? Like where are our rates at? Like if our conversion's, 90%, then we need to raise our prices, right?
Yeah. Right.
Our
you don't want a 90% conversion.
No,
right?
If our conversion's 20%, it's like, okay, maybe we're estimating a little too high on these, so it kind of helps us. Yeah. So we feel like 50% is kind of the sweet spot where we're getting like good jobs, good numbers on the jobs that we do get, and the ones that we don't, we're okay with. So we're tracking that. We're tracking, a lot of the stuff came from Housecall Pro, but we're tracking like average price per job, which we pass on to the guys too when we do our monthly meetings. Like we're telling them like, all right, we did this many jobs and this is our average price per job. We break it down by percentage. Like our average job went up 10% this month. That kind of stuff. So I can probably pull it up and tell you more stuff on there, but there's a ton of stuff on there.
Yeah, and I think a lot of pros are like, oh, I can't always get all the data that I need, but it starts with like good tagging and making sure that you're using job fields and you're using lead source and you're using customer tags and you're using job tags. Like you really got to dig in, because if you don't do that and then you're like, I want to run a report, and then you're like, oh man. And then they're like, well, I can't even pull apart stone versus carpet or like,
So when you were asking like what, I don't know if you asked this earlier, I can't remember, but I know that we were going to get into like what's one feature you wish you started like really using like early on. It would be the customer tags. What did you wish you were doing?
Customer tags.
It would be the customer tags, because like I've even gone back and like tried to retag. Like I've had admin just like on slow days, like, hey, just go back and just start adding tags to everybody, like as much as you can. Over tag people. One of my favorite tags that we do now is we'll do like new Q1 2025, and that will tag a new customer for Q1 for 2025. And we'll do like new Q2 2025. So we have that going back like 4 or 5 years now. So now at any given moment, I can see how many new customers we acquired, in any given quarter, just through the tags. we'll tag residential. We do residential commercials, so we want to tag if it's residential or commercial. We want to tag if it's carpet or if it's marble. We tag the zip code if we ever need to run, a zip code. All kinds of stuff. We even tag like customers we don't want to work with. We got the do not market, do not call. We rank our customers, so we'll tag like D customer, like stay away, basically. And then I love the do not market or the no review, right, tag that you can like filter. Like if, like I tell the guys, like and it's not like we're doing it like all the time, but sometimes you get people that are just crazy, and they're
you
crazy.
Get the crazy cat
and they're crazy from the get-go, and you're like, no review, so like they won't get invited, right? Or like we have another one that's like no card, because we have automated postcards that get sent out, so we created a tag that says no card. So if you tag them no card, they won't get a postcard sent to them, right? Because there's everybody has customers that they don't want to do work for again, So tracking those is just as important as tracking the good ones.
It is, because those ones create the most problems. It's like 20% of the people create 8% of the problems, or 20% of the customers create 8% of the revenue. There's all those things hold true. And if you're not tracking that, you can run straight into that buzzsaw multiple times over, because you might have hired someone new that didn't know. And then that person was like, I didn't know. You're like, oh, you went to so-and-so's house, and you're like, oh my God, let me tell you a story.
Roland, that happened because I had a new admin, and they were, we do annual calls, like checkups, right? Like, hey, it's been 12 months since your last service, or hey, it's been 11 months. So like every month we're calling like 11 months before that, those customers, right? To like say, hey, we haven't done service for you. And so the new person called one of the like do not call, and immediately it was like they had questions and they wanted, and I'm like, no, you call. I'm like, don't call that person. But we didn't have the tags, or they didn't see the tags. I don't know. It was a good learning experience.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you never know until boom, all of a sudden you're talking to them again, and you're like, oh, I'd just open that up. Tell me something about, like, you told me what you wish you would have done, since you first started using Housecall Pro. What's something, and we kind of talked about like what's sort of underrated. We talked about the map feature automatically. What's your favorite feature? What's that feature where you're like, man, if you took this away, I would go drive up to go find you, Roland, to go have some words with you to get put back? What would be that one feature if we took it away? You'd be just like, nope.
I don't even know if I can pin it down to one feature. I think the one feature, which is probably like the most basic feature, is just the automated reminders and confirmations. Like that is gold. Like, and now like with the photos too, like you get the technician sent out like, hey, Cameron's on his way, and it's like my picture, and they're like, oh, you look just like the guy that was going to show up. Like, that's worth its weight in gold, dude. Like I know it's super basic, but that one is like huge. But honestly, like all the automation that you guys offered, the automated review invites, the automated postcard campaigns that we can set up, the automated email. Like we have automated email campaigns where it's like, 3 months after they get an email like, hey, how's your stuff holding up? Like, need anything? Like, all that stuff. I mean, we sell like chemicals to our customer, like bottles of spotters and stuff like that. And so like we'll send them an email with like a coupon for that and get them like coming back for that kind of stuff. But, and then I honestly did like the reports. I know I'm going more than one, dude, but reports is everything. Like, I love seeing the graph with the numbers and where it's at, and just, I'm a numbers and reports guy, dude. So I can't say just one thing, dude. I think if any of those got removed, I would be super bummed.
Don't worry, we're not taking any of them away. No, we're going over. What about tell me a little bit about your experience with like the Housecall Pro community, and what does it mean to be a super pro to you?
Dude, the Housecall Pro community is outstanding. Like when you said I was like OG, like a lot of people that are using Housecall Pro don't know that we used to do like the Superpro meetups like locally. And so we used to have a Superpro meetup here in San Diego, and I used to I was honored to like be able to lead those and lead the discussions and lead the networking and stuff, and like to be able to network with other super pros and know that they have those same values that you have, and know that the customer experience is going to be almost the same as what you're giving them, just from them using Housecall Pro and being a super pro and like agreeing to those standards and like using all the things that you guys have to offer. Like I get so excited when like we hire, because some, stuff happens, dude. Sometimes the guys damage a baseboard, or sometimes we need a painter, or whatever. We got to take care of something. I get so excited when it's a Housecall Pro user and we get those reminders of like, hey, you're scheduled. Hey, reminder, they're going out. Hey, he's on his way. I'm like, dude, this is so nice. It's so
Yeah.
nice just to have
Yeah.
that. And if you look at our reviews, all our 5-star reviews, communication is probably one of the number one things listed in those reviews. It's like communication from start to finish, from answering the phone to the automated reminders to the follow-ups. Like we also like call the next day. Every single customer gets a phone call the next day. Like, how was Roland? Like, did everything go well? Are you happy with the service? Like, do you need anything? So we're ensuring that everything is, the customers are
Done
just
right.
taken care of from start to finish.
Totally.
Yeah. And it's done right. And we guarantee our work, and we're backing it up, So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think being within a community of people that have the same shared values as you, there's just so much you can learn. And, like Cameron said, like if you looked at his Housecall Pro now versus when he started, things evolve. There's a lot that you learn by using the system day in, day out. And there's other super pros that are probably more than willing to just log into their account and show you kind of the things that they do. Because I feel like it's sometimes easier to learn, not necessarily the hard way. It's just like, hey, here's the best practices that I do. Share them with some other folks, and you can
Yeah.
get that in the Housecall Pro community for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I think I've even talked to a couple pros, for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's an easy sell, honestly, but just talking about how we use it. That's what another thing I love about the Super Pro community. Like, because I think somebody years ago had posted like how they were doing what you were talking about. How they were putting like the graphs and stuff in their office, right? Like on the TV, so the guys could see like who was selling the most and who was doing that. Like people would share how they set that up, and it's just a great community, dude. Like it's
Yeah.
like-minded individuals, like all going in the same direction. And the best part about it is nobody's really competition, right? Like we're all in
Yeah.
different areas for the most part. Even if you are, like I always encourage people to become friends with their competitors. Like
Mm-hmm.
get close with your competitors. Be friends with them. They'll send you overflow stuff. Like, you guys can
Totally.
help each other out when you get in a tight spot. Like I never am like, oh, you're my competitor. I don't want to talk to you. I'm not going to give you any of my secrets. Like
Yeah.
being in San Diego, like it's such a large market. There's no
It's
reason for
massive.
that.
It's
There's no reason
massive.
for that. There's so much work to go around.
Yeah, no, it's massive, and honestly, you'll probably end up getting more work from just like referrals and not bad mouthing. That it's never worth it, and it's
Yeah.
such a massive market. Even if you're in a smaller town or a smaller city, there's still stuff's gonna pop up. And remember, if it's another fellow Housecall Pro user, that's only helpful for you too, because now you're setting the bar of what customers want to experience. And anyone that offers anything less, they're not going to want to use again.
Yeah. I mean, every time you start talking, I think about another Housecall Pro feature that we've used, and that was the referral one, where you
That's
could
right.
actually send referrals to other pros through the software, and just all
Yep.
their data would pop up. Like,
Yep.
there's so many things on there.
Yeah, there's a lot. All right, I'm gonna end this with one last question. Is there anything you would tell young Cameron? Like, imagine 2010 Cameron, like fresh, bushy-eyed, thinking
Yeah.
you're gonna conquer the role. What would you tell young Cameron? Hey, this is what you got to know. Here's the
Um,
advice.
the advice, the first thing that I would tell myself, which I don't even think there was anything like it at the time. There might have been, but the first thing I would do is invest in a software like Housecall Pro. That would be like number one. Like I wish I would have from day one had that set up. It would have made my life so much easier. Just to have that all that data from the very beginning, like in one place. Like I can still look at it in QuickBooks, but to have all that data in Housecall Pro, that's what I would say is like invest. And then I would say the one thing I didn't do, believe it or not, dude, until recently, we've been in business 14 years. I think just 2 years ago, I started spending money on Google ads and SEO and like website stuff. Like for 12 years, it was just, I
grinding
just
it out.
hustled, dude. I was doing the networking stuff. I was doing the BNI stuff. I was doing the Chamber of Commerce stuff. I was like on committees. I was just network, mixer out all the time. But that kind of wears you down when you start having a family and you're like, you know, not home for dinner every night because you're trying to get more jobs and more work and more stuff. And so we've seen like record numbers over the last 2 years since we started investing in SEO and like Google ads. And like, I'm actually seeing like that those things do work if they're done correctly. Yep. And so that I think is what I'm most excited about right now, because it's kind of like an untapped thing for us. And we just started like 2 years ago, which probably sounds crazy. Being in business that long without spending any money on SEO, dude.
It's a great, ads, but yeah, it's honestly a really great testament to just doing good work. How, you know, you can get there. You guys have over 500 reviews. I think you're like 600 or more, you know, 4.9 stars.
Over 600 now. Yeah. On Google.
Yeah. And like that just in itself is just like, just a powerhouse worth of business when people are like looking for you, looking about you, you know, doing research. Yeah. And so, yeah, you don't have to spend a lot of money to build this. I mean, you're going to hit $2 million this year. You know, sure, you're going to spend a little bit more money now, but like you can get to here without spending a whole bunch of money on the Yelps and the home advisors and, you know, all those kind of the world. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you can. You just got to do the work.
Oh, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for this great edition here and this great interview. Super stoked to still see you on the platform. It's always great talking to you know, local OG San Diego pro. For everyone else that's listening, go ahead.
I was just gonna say we used to hang out in the San Diego office back in the day.
That's right. Yep. Now we're full remote. Have some folks in San Diego, but times have changed. Times have changed a little bit. But yeah, next time I'll be in San Diego, definitely drop by and let the pros know. But for everyone else that's listening here, we're going to have another great guest on next week on the Superpro podcast. Thanks again, Cameron, for coming. And if you were listening and you're like, man, whatever Cameron was saying resonated with me, I got to go get Housecall Pro. You can always go to housecallpro.com/podcast deal. Or you can text me, 858-215-1512, and I'll hook you up with somebody. It's a cool number. It's a palindrome. It's geeky. Yes, I am a nerd. All right. See y'all next time. Thanks, Cameron.
All right. Thank you, guys. Bye.
The Superpro podcast is brought to you by Housecall Pro, the leading platform for the home service industry. Housecall Pro streamlines your workflows and simplifies everything from scheduling and dispatching to communication and billing. Unlock the full potential of your home service business with Housecall Pro. Work smarter and more efficiently with streamlined workflows and detailed analytics. Win more business and serve your customers well, every single time. Join more than 40,000 home service pros who have already revolutionized their businesses. Work smarter with streamlined workflows, get organized with centralized information, and scale your business your way. Learn more at housecallpro.com.